The first chart of the San Francisco Bay, 1775. This is the first of a three-part series celebrating the 250th year anniversary of Juan de Ayala's entrance into San Francisco Bay. The series accompanies a book published this year on the subjects of Juan de Ayala and the Spanish maritime efforts in California. The book is titled Ayala, the Coast of Spanish California. My name is Bradley Engel. I'm a lowly instructor at the California Maritime Academy, teaching navigation and piloting and ship handling. Studying maritime topics in a journalistic and academic fashion is a long-standing hobby of mine. And I've published multiple books on maritime topics, including 2 books promoting social justice issues in the enlisted ranks of the U.S. Coast Guard. The book Ayala was published after 5 years of research, including transcribing and translating hundreds of pages of archival material. The book contains never-before-seen translations of the log of the San Carlos. What you see before you now is Ayala's chart of San Francisco Bay, created in 1775. This video will discuss 3 talking points on this chart: its creator or creators, why the order to survey the bay was given, and what came after the survey. The chart bears the name Juan de Ayala, who captained the San Carlos from San Blas, Mexico in 1775. Ayala sailed for 101 days before reaching Monterey Bay, where he stopped for a month to repair his ship, nurse his crew back to health, and collect local knowledge on his mission to survey the bay. In Monterey, Ayala met with the then governor of Alta California, Fernando de Rivera. Rivera had visited the Golden Gate Strait the year before, and along with the reports from his predecessors, Governor Fejas in 1770 and 1772, and reports from the Francisco monk Juan Crespi in 1772, and additional information collected from the diaries of the Portola expedition in 1769, Rivera gave Ayala as much information about entering San Francisco as he could. Ayala departed Monterey on August 1st and entered the bay the night of August 5th, after tacking along the coast in fogs and winds. Before Ayala entered on the ship San Carlos, the ship's launch entered many hours before, commanded by José de Cañizares and 10 men. Over 40 days, Ayala and his 2 pilots, the first pilot Cañizares and the second pilot Aguirre, surveyed the greater portions of the San Francisco Bay, including waters upstream to the confluence of the Sacramento and San Joaquin River systems, aka the Sacramento Delta. We know that Cañizares did a majority of the exploring north of Angel Island, that Aguirre did much of the exploring south Yerba Buena Island, and that Ayala himself took soundings in the Central Bay and Golden Gate Straits. There are many reasons why historians give credit to Cañizares for the creation of this chart. The primary is that Ayala himself told his superiors that Cañizares created the map. It's also worth noting that Ayala was severely wounded during this survey and was in his bed much of the time, having been shot in the foot 4 months before as the San Carlos was northering past the Cape of San Lucas. Because Cañizares was the mariner who set off to survey the rivers to the north for 10 days, because Ayala was injured, and because Ayala gave credit to Cañizares for the creation of the map, it seems natural enough for us to give credit to José de Cañizares. However, Cañizares was not a cartographer. While Cañizares was a very skilled scout and mariner who had prior experience with Alta California expeditions and maritime voyages, Juan de Ayala had been trained specifically on making maps in California. Ayala, along with 4 other Spanish officers, attended specialty training in Cadiz in the summer of 1774 in preparation for charting the California coast, including San Francisco Bay. This suggests that Ayala created the chart, or at least had a hand in its creation. Additionally, many of the soundings on the chart came directly from the course of the San Carlos, during a time Cañizares was not on the ship. The soundings leading into the bay, specifically 16, 50, 60, and 22 fathoms, are all from the log of the San Carlos, written by Ayala. The historian Hubert Bancroft suggests that the names given to the shoreline in the South Bay were given by the second pilot, Aguirre, and we know that Ayala himself gave the names of the names in the Central Bay and Golden Gate Strait. I thus give credit to Juan de Ayala for the creation of this chart. I explain this in much more detail in the book mentioned at the beginning of this video. This brings us to why surveying the bay was so important. Ayala had left Monterey on August 1st, 1775, with orders to survey the bay directly from the Viceroy of New Spain, Antonio Beccarelli. who had received threatening news from his superiors in Seville that Russians and other foreign actors may be on the coast of California. This was a similar threat that the Inspector General José de Galvez and Viceroy Croix experienced in 1768, which resulted in the Portola expedition of 1769 and the founding of San Diego and the founding of Monterey in 1770. The difference is found in the publication of two maps, one for each event. In 1758, Gerhard Friedrich Müller published a map showing the voyages of Bering, which reached Alaska and Canada. That map also marked the coast of California as Nouveau Albion, which is the name Drake gave in 1579. In 1773, Jacob von Stalin created a similar map, using additional names and creating an imaginary coastline. His names included New Albion too. It also included various other reports of fake explorers like Font and Juan de Fuca. And also, Bering's voyages were on that map. The possible presence of foreign actors in Upper California was not acceptable. As Ayala surveyed San Francisco Bay, two additional exploratory vessels headed north, as far as latitude 58 degrees. In San Francisco Bay, Ayala was also supposed to meet with Juan Bautista de Anza, who never showed, and was actually a year behind. When Anza did arrive with his 100 colonists, the vessel San Carlos had returned from Mexico, carrying additional supplies, this time captained by Fernando Quiros, and was also piloted by José de Cañizares again. Anza was ordered to deliver his colonists, erect the Presidio and mission, and then attempt to reach the old Puerto San Francisco, present-day Drake's Bay, and survey the bay area as he went. Like his predecessors in the Portola and Fejas expeditions, Anza was blocked by the Sacramento Delta. After de Anza left, Army Lieutenant Jose Moraga had been given additional orders to create a new survey of the bay. This was done in two parts in 1776, and the result was this map, the Plano del Puerto de San Francisco. Again, Cañizares and his captain Quiros sailed toward the delta and were blocked. They were supposed to meet Moraga in the modern town of Crockett, but Moraga did not show. Quiros and Cañizares sailed up the Petaluma River, took additional notes, and returned to San Francisco. Moraga had walked overland to Martinez, crossed the San Joaquin River near present-day Pittsburgh, and was then blocked by the larger Sacramento River. The chart created by these events are often accredited to Jose de Cañizares, though it's likely that the chart was again a combined effort. Thanks for watching. Check out the two other videos of this series and the book, Ayala, the Coast of Spanish California.